Greetings, everyone. Welcome again. Before I begin, I would like to thank my ancestors, my guides, and I would like to just begin in sharing my experience with one of my favorite stones, as I was talking about in my previous video, amethyst, and my experience with amethyst. First off, one of the benefits that I have experienced with amethyst is that it does help a lot with anxiety, with if you have, like I mentioned in my other video, if you have problems sleeping, if you haven't been dreaming often enough, putting a piece of amethyst under your pillow helps a lot. Wearing amethyst around as a bracelet, around your neck as a necklace, maybe even earrings, it helps. It's a very powerful stone, but it's also very soothing at the same time. And as I mentioned in my other video, I shared an experience where my goddaughter was having trouble sleeping, and I had made her a necklace with amethyst. And I believe it was just amethyst, just a plain old, nothing fancy necklace, and it did the job. I find that physically it does help with a lot of like blockages, like especially with certain childhood traumas. For me, I'm only speaking on my experience with it. One time I remember even I had a headache, and I just rested a piece of the stone on my forehead, and it had relieved it almost as instantly as I put it there. I felt the relief coming on, and this was around the time where I was even pregnant. I was going through a lot of toothaches, headaches, and it helped. I noticed this stone, the magic with the stone is that it does help relieve certain like pains and traumas. But one of my other experiences, and I'll get to it, is that I was having a dream, and it was like maybe like close to evening time, like around 6, 7, because I have the habit of watching. When I watch TV, or I can't really stay up too long, like I'll fall asleep. So I fell asleep, and I was dreaming, and I had dreamt of my mom. And my mom had passed like years now by the time that I had this dream. She passed in my adulthood, not in my childhood, because in my previous video I was explaining where she took sick, but after that she had been in the hospital for years, and then she passed in my early 20s. But in this point I was probably like late 20s, like 27 or so. If she passed when I was 23, I was safe to say 27. And I was sleeping, and I dreamt her. She looked beautiful, but she was it was like she was in the stars, and she was looking down at me, and she was smiling. And it's funny because it's my mom, but she reminded me of Hat Haru. Just the way, like, it came to my mind when I woke up and I realized that I dreamt her. Right away I said Hat Haru, but it was Mummy, like it was her, but it was like simultaneously that energy, and she was just looking at me. And within that dream, just her smile and how she was looking at me, I knew that I was loved. Number one, I knew I was protected, and I knew that I didn't really have a lot to worry about in that moment, because I'm a person, I worry a lot. And it was refreshing, and it was what I needed at the moment, because I love my mom. I grew up always having like a sorrow to my life, because she wasn't there the way I wanted her to be. She was in the hospital most of the time. And I remember that I was wearing a piece of amethyst. I was wearing a necklace that I made amethyst. I'm not saying that it's solely the amethyst that made this happen, but like my dream was just like amazing. Like it just felt like I could connect with her in a way that I wasn't able to before. And this was a long time ago. I haven't had that connection again with her through dreaming, or like I'll think about her, yes, like she's on my mind, I'll think about her. But that dream meant a lot to me because I I would I would feel bad because when she passed I had to give the okay to take her off of life's, like, the machine, and I carried that with me for a long time. So seeing her look down at me and smile, it meant everything. And just even just seeing her, period, but seeing her like that in that way, I just was like, okay, she's okay and I'm gonna be okay. And from there I was still very much in the frame of mind where I was doing things that I liked. I was making my jewelry. I was taking orders from people, like, for my jewelry. So it was like she was saying, "Oh, good job," like all in that little tidbit of the dream. Like, well, maybe it was longer, but in that tidbit, that's what I got. Like, my mom is looking at me and she's saying, like, okay, I'm proud of you. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I just want everyone to know that when you do something that is fulfilling to your being, to yourself, it is something that you profit from more than money. But it's not to say, and I'm learning this now, it's not to say that it's a bad thing that you're making money off of something that is spiritual, because a lot of the times that's where we go wrong. We think that it's supposed to just be free, but like, we have the right to live good. Being spiritual doesn't mean that you need to be a pauper, and there's nothing wrong with living humble, but I mean, like, you don't have to be broke to be spiritual. And that's something that's actually very it kind of goes against, if you're living to your full potential spiritually, then you should have access to all of everything that anyone else could have, if not more. It's just up to you how you use it. If you want, you're going to be balanced, so you're not going to think so much along the lines as material gains, but you do need to live, you do need to eat, you do need to support yourself in this physical realm. You need to pay rent, you need to clothe yourself, you need to feed yourself. So to go without making any money is ridiculous. But, like, by all means, like, I'm not judging anybody who does things, who gives their services for free, but I'm learning that don't feel bad about putting a price on. Like, when I used to make jewelry, I used to feel bad about pricing them. I used to have a hard time pricing them because I'm saying, well, this is supposed to help. They're supposed to heal people or help heal people. It's spiritual what I'm doing, so I shouldn't be expecting to gain so much from it. And that was where I had to learn that there's a fine line. There's a balance. And I'm learning now. Like, I'm learning to be okay with that, and going at it again, I'm going to be a lot more, I'm going to be less worried about those things, because if someone doesn't want it, they don't need to get it. I'm going to be gearing it towards people who understand the benefits of it, and if not, I'll educate them a little bit about the benefits of it. But I won't be pushing it down someone's throat anyway. It will speak for itself. Like, there's many different people out here that make jewelry, and we all don't price them the same. So if I'm a little bit cheaper than the next person, then that's just how it is. These are the things that I'm starting to come to the realization of. But getting back to the stones, like the amethyst, like I said, it's something that even when you look at it, just the glare, it's like, it just puts you in this mood. And even as I'm holding it, it just puts me in this this type of mood where it's like I feel my heart even beating in a certain way where it's like, okay, relax. When I use it in meditation, it gives that same vibe where it's like, okay, become one with yourself. And you can do this with any stone, but the amethyst, it helps for me, just like a malachite stone, which I'll do a video on later on down the road. It helps heal past trauma. And especially when it comes to spirituality and spiritual connections, this is like one of the stones that help. Like, I'll list a few down in the comment section, but this is one of the most powerful stones when it comes to connecting spiritually and meditation and healing. This is one of the best stones that you can possibly use, and it's pretty much like, it's like when it's one of the basics, because you can use clear quartz, you can use lapis, you can use malachite. Malachite I would use more for childhood trauma and healing that, as I would this as well, but this is more things that you're holding on spiritually, like clearing blockages. Fluorite's good for that too, but I would say this is one of the best stones by far. I've started making jewelry, and one of my go-to stones that I make my jewelry with is amethyst. I combine it with clear quartz, as I mentioned. I combine it with obsidian. I'm doing more research on stones to combine it with that go good combining, but I just look at what the stone what it does. It's its healing properties, and that's what I usually determine. Okay, this goes together. They're pretty much doing the same thing. I want to amplify this, so I put them together. But amethyst is one of the stones that I've had a lot of good experiences using. I can't say anything negative about an amethyst stone. Well, okay, it's not negative, but at one time I even had an experience where it forced me to deal with something that I was completely not trying to deal with. I wasn't trying to deal with my anger, because I don't like to express anger. But if I don't deal with it, sometimes I will blow up and be a complete, it will be like a complete disaster. It takes me long to come back from it. I may take a while to calm down. And the amethyst kind of, it was like it pushed that. Like I realized that I wasn't sleeping. I was wearing, I believe, a bracelet and a necklace, and I realized that I was upset, but I was trying to not pay attention to it. Okay, whatever, don't think about that. Almost like I'm saying it's not a good thing that I'm upset or that I'm angry, but that emotion was still valid. I was upset, and I needed to look at why, so that I can get rid of that emotion. And I feel like amethyst helped me. That's exactly how it works. It helps you confront certain things in that sense. And even in visualization and meditation, you can sit a piece like this, or you can use jewelry, but a piece like this, or even a smaller palm stone or whatever, a couple of them, because I even have a bag of small clusters. You can just sit it down in front of yourself as you sit and do your meditation, and visualize the stone as well. And it helps. I won't say take your mind off the thoughts that come, because you still need to at least acknowledge it and let it go. But it helps with that process, because as you're visualizing your stone, and I have to go pick up Ray at 4 o'clock. I have to do this. okay, you're remembering this, and it's like it helps you file it and let it go, file it and let it go, until eventually you're not having all these thoughts coming in anymore. All your visualizing is this amethyst, and you're doing your breathing work, and it helps. It's like it helps as a tool to meditate, so that you can actually do it. You can actually have a proper meditation without being distracted. It helps train your mind, per se, to visualize. And you can, it's not like you can't use another stone to do this same visualization, but because amethyst is such a powerful stone, I've experienced that it helped with me. It helped me in a lot of situations. I keep it around me a lot. Like, I buy a lot of these types of amethyst. Like, I buy clusters, I buy this, and I'm looking to buy like one of those huge ones that you like. I believe it's gonna run me about 200, but these are the things that interest me. It's gonna be a part of my business, so it's gonna be well worth it for me. I love, as I mentioned, the combination of quartz, like clear quartz. I also like to use rose quartz with amethyst. I would combine it with malachite, because I like the pop of the color as well, and the properties that you're working with is overall protection. And so combining the amethyst and malachite, I find is awesome. I find that it's beneficial. I would like to get more into these things with everyone on my channel, but I'm just taking my time to introduce myself and to share certain experiences that may help others. Once again, if you want, you can communicate with me in the comment section below, and suggestions are welcomed. I'm just opening myself up to be of help to others who are going through this journey as I am. So until next time, this video is a little bit on the shorter side, but I will be coming out with more information, more little story times about little things that I go through spiritually, not in just in general, because everything's connected somehow spiritually. So I can't just separate them, but we will be in touch, as I would say. I would like to extend peace, love, and joy to everyone. Until the next time, my name's Anki Cinnamon. Peace.